older workers work harder? Some bosses think so. It depends on the person. Some of them actually do work harder, but others are just a lot better at looking like they're working harder because they've figured out that looking like you're busy is more important than actually being busy. You gotta know which ones you're dealing with. So some companies are recruiting seniors on the premise that age equals a stronger work ethic. Now, wouldn't this count as age discrimination? Because here in the U.S., older people they basically got laws put on the books to like against what they called age discrimination because when older people were passed up in favor of younger people for jobs for various reasons. They weren't happy about that, and they got this whole age discrimination thing passed. Okay, now if you're one of the younger crowd, you should use that because now that they're discriminating against you, use the laws that they got put in place when you were getting preferential treatment against them. Like, nope, Kip Conforti is hiring for a part-time position at one of two package shipping stations he owns in Pennsylvania. He's filled such roles with high school and college students during the 2 decades in the business, but this time his top candidate is a man in his 70s. Mr. Conforti has grown weary of younger employees who, he says, arrive late for shifts, call out of work often, and spend more time scrolling social media feeds than chatting with customers. About a year ago, he tried something different, recruiting people who are more likely to carry AARP cards than the latest iPhone. Well, as long as that worked out for you, that's fine. All right, the learning curve is a bit longer, he says, but once they get it, God, it's refreshing, I say. This is what we're doing today, and it gets done. So their shift starts at 9, and they're here at 8:50. It's their work ethic. Yeah, being present is more important than doing the job, too. Like, oh, man, these are all lessons you learn as time goes by. All right, older workers are in demand at a growing number of companies. Perceptions of generational differences don't always match reality, but 3/4 of people 65 and older said in a Wall Street Journal NORC survey of Americans' values last month that hard work is important to them personally. Among 18 to 29-year-olds, 61% said hard work is very important. So much for youthful ambition. So people 55 and older are the fastest growing segment of the workforce, according to federal data. The demographic shifts help explain the trend. People are living longer and having fewer children. And some retirement age folks have little choice but to work because inflation and a weak stock market. Or that they bet the farm on crypto and lost everything. Like, isn't that basically Boogie's situation? He dumped all of his savings into crypto, and it was going well for him for a while until it wasn't. And now he has to keep doing videos begging for support. Yeah, it's just sad how, you could see someone go from, oh, I never need to work another day in my life. I'm set to, yeah, I need some donations. I kind of squandered my fortune. Oops. All right, but certain businesses are targeting seniors on the premise that age is an asset. The AARP, since current year minus 11, has asked companies to sign a pledge to give workers over 50 a fair shot in hiring. Commitments rose 122% last year compared to with current year minus 2. The group says the roster of pledge takers now features more than 2,500 businesses, including Bank of America, Microsoft, and H&R Block. So it makes great business sense to hire experienced workers, said Heather Tinsley Fix, a senior advisor for employer engagement at AARP. Okay. More companies are also recognizing the need to include age in their diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. There it is. I was waiting for that to rear its head. KinderCare Learning Centers, which operates more than 1,500 childcare facilities, signed the pledge last August and to expand recruiting efforts amid an acute childcare worker shortage. The AARP's pledge program offered access to job boards and career fairs for workers over 50. Less than a year in, the KinderCare hasn't tallied the resulting hires, but the payoff is already clear, said Travis Trotman. There's a willingness from this group to work to work the opening shift or close down for the day, or to cover during lunch breaks, or even to be on call as needed, he said. I could go on and on about the value and the benefits. Well, the whole being on call thing, the last job I worked where I had to be on call, they actually gave if you were on call for a week, you got some extra shekels for that week. That motivated people to actually, not bitch about doing it. And if for whatever reason you didn't want to be on call, you could trade with somebody else. But obviously, in return, they got the extra money. So the global staffing agency Manpower Group launched a placement program for what it calls mature workers. In current year -2, after hearing clients' concerns about labor shortages and high turnover. So it says Laurel McDowell, Miss McDowell, 69, damn, came out of retirement to rejoin her former firm and lead the initiative. So older workers can be good fits for business focused on retention. Yeah, because they're less likely to go find other options, and especially if they're coming out of retirement anyway. Young professionals don't necessarily job hop more frequently than their predecessors did at the same career stage, but people tend to value stability as they age, she observes. Yeah, they're generally not looking for the next move, says Miss McDowell says of her age cohort. Yeah, frequently you can just get us for a very reasonable cost. Some unretirees say they draw inspiration from athletes such as quarterback Tom Brady or Olympic beach volleyball champion Kerry Walsh Jennings, who have made comebacks and excelled long past their purported primes. So Miss Walsh Jennings, 44, aims to qualify for a 6th Olympics next year after sitting out the current year -3 cycle. She tells me it's natural to question whether you've still got it, but adds its importance to let performance speak for itself. Well, when you get older too, it's not just just like basic strength, reaction time. At 44, you can still like maintain your physical condition, but you have to put a lot more effort just to avoid sliding backwards. And plus, injuries take longer to heal, and you're more prone to them. There's all sorts of other things that kind of build up. So I see these amazing athletes who are significantly younger and very hungry, and I wonder, can I do this? Am I crazy to even think about it? She said. But last month I was in Miami competing, and it took me 2 minutes to be like, no, I got it. I belong here. Yeah, these whippersnappers ain't got nothing on me. And while ageism remains a barrier for some graying workers, age discrimination complaints for Equal Opportunity Employment Commission dropped 45%. Oh, it's going to grow again as younger people are discriminated against. That's probably because claims are hardest to prove and lawyers are often reluctant to take borderline cases. Johnny C. Taylor Jr., Chief Executive of Society for Human Resource Management, says the decline also signals a meaningful reduction in age discrimination. There's no official measure of discrimination claims on the basis of being too young because federal law protects only workers over 40. Oh, I see what they did there. Yep, it's another one of those protected groups things, like how it's okay to be racist against white people because they're not a protected group. You only get in trouble if you're racist against a protected. Oh, I see. Yeah, so only old people count as a protected group. It's okay to discriminate against young people. Ah, I see. Oh, but human resource departments frequently field grievances from millennials and Gen Zers who say they're unfairly passed over because of their generation's reputations for flakiness, Mr. Taylor says. So he adds that young people's approach to work isn't necessarily worse. Plenty are hard charging, and those who dial down the intensity can improve their health and happiness, while balance may strike some as lazy. You should be working for someone else's benefit your whole life. Others see refreshing groundedness or well-founded skepticism of the idea that hard work pays off. Yeah, not hard work itself doesn't pay off. It's got to be more than that. Like it's like, what are you working towards is important. Do the people you're working hard for actually respect and value your hard work? You got to consider that too. That's still old-fashioned grinders appeal to employees. When the economy is down, companies need fewer people and need the people who are there to be okay with working hard. Yeah, you need to be okay with doing 3 people's work and being paid for half a person. Yeah. So instead of trying to convince younger generations to be something different, the companies are saying, why don't we just go hire people who are naturally predisposed to work harder? Are they really, though? Or are they just better at gaming the system? I think that's the big question.